The voting session lasted nearly 12 hours, an entire day to review evidence gathered by the Brazilian Senate Committee, which spent the past 6 months investigating the government's handling of the pandemic. In the end, 7 of the 11 committee members approved the final report, holding 80 people responsible for the 600,000 people who've died of COVID-19 in Brazil. But the report lays most of the blame on President Jair Bolsonaro, who's downplayed the virus and pushed to curtail lockdown measures. The Senate recommends he be charged with 9 crimes, among them crimes against humanity. Bolsonaro is accused of letting COVID-19 spread throughout Brazil in a failed attempt to achieve herd immunity through infection and somehow protect the economy. Brazil has the world's second largest death toll after the United States. According to the report, a third of those lives could have been saved had the president taken the pandemic seriously and acted sooner. Instead, he called it a little flu, encouraged mass gatherings, spent public resources pushing unproven treatments, delayed the vaccination campaign, and spoke out against vaccines. That's despite the president himself testing positive for COVID-19. Just last week, Bolsonaro continued spreading misinformation on social media. Facebook and YouTube took down a video in which he falsely claimed that COVID-19 vaccines were linked to developing AIDS. Senator Yanakiew, who wrote the report, was clear in his assessment of the president's role.
The
president is a serial killer who has a death fixation and continues to repeat everything that has been said in the past. Now, with this declaration that the vaccine can infect people with AIDS, clearly demonstrates he has no respect for Brazilian lives.
After approving the report, the committee asked Brazil's Supreme Court to ban Bolsonaro from using social media. But the president's supporters say the committee has its own political agenda, and its main goal is to defeat Bolsonaro in next year's presidential elections. The report will now be submitted to Brazil's Attorney General, who has 30 days to respond. It's highly unlikely that most charges will be brought before next year's presidential elections. But the Senate committee says its investigation has already had an impact. It has cast a spotlight on the government's wrongdoings and raised public awareness. Yanakiew, Al Jazeera.